All right, here we are again. Saturday night instead of Friday night. Um,
Who the hell are you?
I'm Lance Ash. And who the hell are you?
I'm your wife, and this is nothing but worry.
Okay. So how detailed? No, we don't. We can't. Hold on a second. All right. Trying to think what happened or this week or what's
We've had a stressful week.
important, stressful week. My Fender Twin amp that I've had for 30 years has been on the fritz for a long time now. And I've taken it in to get it fixed a couple of times over the years. And the guy who repaired it twice in the past is dead. So I took it to a new guy. He didn't quite understand what the problem was. So I picked it up Friday, and it still didn't work. So I contacted him. He's like, "Oh, I didn't understand what." So I had to take it back over there today. And I have so many issues with interacting with people. Anytime I talk to somebody, especially somebody that I don't know very well, I get just frantic afterwards. So when I took the amp over there to the guy's house today, I had a little more opportunity than the previous two times to talk to him. And so when I get in the car to go home, I'm just like a basket case, thinking about, did I say too much? Did I talk about myself too much? Did I say did I say anything wrong? And it's just nerves, just even beyond questioning what I might have said. I'm just like shaking.
Yeah, I can see that. It's really funny as I'm sitting here listening to you talk about how you're ill at ease talking to others. We both know people in our lives that have the gift of gab, the art of bullshit, or more specifically, just bullshit with others. And they can't shut the fuck up. And it's just one of those things where you either have it or you don't. Or when you do, you don't have it, you feel uncomfortable watching people do it.
Yeah. I've seen my dad talk to people, and I don't know.
Tell them the story about the volleyball.
Oh, long time. I must have been 16, 17, something like that. And I was going to go on a date, and I don't think I had a car at the time or something. I can't remember. But in order to borrow my parents' car, whatever the hell it was, I had to ride with them. My dad used to be in the Army Reserves, and the guy who was the lead sergeant of his unit or whatever was having like a barbecue or something over at his house. So I had to ride with my parents over there. They were going to get a ride with somebody else back, and that way I could get the car. So as soon as we get there and get out of the car, they're playing volleyball in the guy's backyard, the sergeant's backyard. And the guy says, "Oh, come over and join us," to my dad. And he goes immediately running over. I mean, just out of the car with a leap and a bound, and starts participating. And look at my mother like, "What the hell?" And she goes, "He's got to play the game." And as a kid, you'd be out grocery shopping with them or whatever, and he'd run into somebody he knew from work or whatever. Stop dead in your tracks and talk for 10 fucking minutes with the guy. And I'm just like, what in the hell?
But he'd do this at funerals too, wouldn't he?
Oh, I don't know about that, but
He was always dragging you guys off to funerals. Every time somebody
that's my
died,
parents in general. We went to so many funerals when I was a kid.
there's somebody that you avoid because he's always trying to run his mouth about your dad, your dad, your dad.
It's this old man at work that he just wants to talk to you because he's just lonely old man, I guess, or you get that way when you're older. I don't know. But Bonnie has seen me go through these just nervous fits after I've had an interaction with somebody, you know?
I've also been embarrassed for you when you've been out of your senses, like after the huge surgery, when you had swelling on the brain, and you're chatty and da 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 and handshaking people and stuff, and I'm like, I was embarrassed for you because that's not you, you know? Because I knew that if you ever saw it, it would just make you curl up in a ball, knowing that you'd done that.
Yeah. I don't like it. I don't like. Some people, it's a thrill and a joy and a delight to meet new people. But I don't like meeting new people because anytime you meet somebody, you don't know what kind of a trap you're stepping into. You don't know how they're going to try to wheedle their way into your life and use you or
Rita's,
waste your time.
Rita's like us in a sense that she doesn't really actively engage, but she does get to know people slowly, but not too closely. Whereas Peter, everywhere Peter goes, Peter has friends. He went to this games store and got to know all the guys at the game store. So I would go in with him because we'd run errands and I'd sit in a corner and watch him. And then the game store moved and we started going over to the other place. And when they moved, they had these tables set up so you could go in and game role play games with people. And he found a D&D group through them. And I was shocked to hear him come home and talk about interacting with these people and stuff. It was the most easy thing in the world for him. And it wasn't just within the confines of the roles that they were in. Now, this was pre-COVID. And all through COVID, they all decided to start meeting online. And they game together twice a week now. From like 7 until 11 each night. And in between, they have a dedicated Discord group where throughout the week they exchange little bits and pieces and trivia. His best friend is now a man my age who lives in New York State. I couldn't believe it when he called Frank his best friend. I was like, what the hell? And then when he was at the office place, he got to know everybody there. People stopped me at the grocery store nearby and go, "You're Peter's mom, aren't you?" I'm like, "Oh, we work with Peter, da da da." I couldn't believe it. It was really funny. One of them actually went, "You're tall like him. Can you reach that?"
Has he ever met this
And
Frank guy in person?
yeah, they gamed together over here in
And he moved away
Athens
to New York?
when Frank and Christina lived here. And now Frank and Christina have moved to New York. Anyway, they are just pals and they exchange messages every single day. And he's really funny. He said, "You'd get along with Frank. He's a lot like you and Pop and all the things that you guys like." And I thought, that's really weird. Your best friend is like your parents. But some people have it and some people don't.
Yeah, I don't know.
I know that with
On the
me,
one,
I crave being around other people, but when I come home and get away from it, I have that same moment of replaying the conversation. What did I say? It was stupid. You know, and I come home and I'm absolutely, utterly drained from the exchange, you know?
well, I just don't know how to take the kids now because
What?
on the one hand, I feel like to a certain extent they must identify with us or me, but on the other hand, I feel like they, um, what's the word? Uh, feel judgmental about me or resent me in some way. I just don't know. Um,
We always try to be very upfront with our kids about a lot of different things. And Rita's on her second major life relationship. She was the first guy for 4 or 5 years, and now she's been with this one for 2 years. And they plan to get married. And I sat her down, and she'd been mad about something or another concerning the family. And she said something to the effect of, would you be mad if I talked to Andrew about this? And I said, look, we're part of your life. This is part of your life. You do what you need to do in order to get by. If you need to bitch and moan about us, do it. If you need to contact us every week, do it. And I suspect she does both because she calls me every week, every weekend. It's rare that I go a weekend without hearing from her. And sometimes she'll actually come over like she did this week for my birthday. But I know at the same time there's still, like with us and our parents, there's still there's little bits of things that bother you about having grown up with, these people that raised you. That sort of thing.
Yeah, I don't know. I really have no relationship with my parents at all, and just nothing in common with them at all. I still feel an obligation to announce when I've done something that they might feel proud of or pleased with.
Yeah, you
But on the
finished
other hand,
a thing this week. Did you send it to your dad? The
no,
pictures? Don't even bother, do you?
no. But anyway, on a related note, in the past couple months, I've discussed how I started doing the cannabis gummies. Well, that's over. That experiment has been brought to an end, and so I'm a little bit off my game
Adrift
tonight. Yeah, I can't focus. Tried to paint last night and just really couldn't get into it. Just I don't know. So anyway,
Been able to paint before without them.
mm-hmm.
You think maybe you'll be able to find your way back? Don't you think?
Maybe, I don't know. I just had a big cup of coffee. Went up the road to the Quick Trip and had a big cup of coffee because I knew I had to stay awake. And now I get home and, on the one hand, there's no way I could go to sleep now. But on the other hand, part of my brain is still dead inside, still sleepy inside. And I'm, a little bit upset about everything. But, oh well. Been thinking about going to a shrink.
So have I.
Because there's got to be something they can give me, to... What was I said yesterday about, or earlier, whenever it was, I mentioned this. The reason I wanted them to give me something to calm my brain or something. I can't remember how
We were
phrased
talking
it.
about it in terms of maybe you might be on the spectrum with ADHD. We're not quite sure because, we're not professionals.
Years ago I went to a psychiatrist because I thought maybe he would give me Ritalin. Because I had read this article by this guy who had taken Ritalin, and he said that while he was on it, he's a writer, he said he would just sit down at the keyboard and the words were just pouring out of him because his brain was working differently. And I thought, that sounds fantastic. And of course the guy puts me on a mild antidepressant, and I took it for maybe a week or so, and I just thought, man, I don't give a shit about this.
Oh, this is when Peter was little, wasn't it?
It was the same psychiatrist that Leshin
Yeah.
went to, and they liked him because they would give him whatever. I mean, he would give them whatever prescriptions.
What's his name and where can I find him?
I can't remember the guy's name, but I thought it would be more like talk therapy. But no, his thing was just purely, okay, this seems to be your level of personal neurosis, so I'm going to prescribe this pill for you or whatever. And at the time, I was like, I really don't. That's not what I don't know.
You know what I want? I want Xanax to take as I need it. I am one of these people that I will go and get into a crisis situation or a surgical situation. Go to the ER, I got stung madly. I hoarded the oxycodone pills. They gave me all of 5 or 10. I came home, drank gin and tonics, took one of those, maybe 2 of those, and held on to them for a couple of years, and just now finished them off. Like I said, I just hoard those kind of things because I so rarely get them. And then I have had dentists prescribe Xanax to help me with the de-stress me the day before I have to go in and be put under to have my teeth done. And I'm like a tooth pulled out kind of thing. And it was the best thing I've ever had. It took away all my stress. And if I could find somebody that would just let me have, I don't know, 5 or 10 Xanax every month, so I could just take them here and there.
I know
when I
what.
become overstressed. Go ahead.
I know what. I know how I couched it when I talked to you about it. I don't feel good a lot of the time. And, you know, maybe it is related to, in some tenuous way, to not feeling comfortable interacting with people. But it's not physical. I mean, I have aches and pains, you know, but that doesn't bother me. What bothers me is this horrible feeling when you wake up that you do not want to face it. And you don't feel enthusiastic about even your artwork, you know. And if, the only thing I have ever found in my life that made me feel like I wanted to feel was pot. And that's over. And I don't know what to do. I'm going to be frank here. Meditation, while you're doing it, for the 10, 15 minutes or whatever that you're doing it, it's fine. But it has no long-term effects. It doesn't last throughout the day like people like celebrities who do it claim.
That's because they have a couple $1 million. They don't have to worry about shit.
Right, yeah.
They have somebody to drive them wherever they need to go. They can order in. They have somebody to pick up after them. They don't have to do the mundane things in life.
And if I could find a psychiatrist or a doctor or somebody that's like, oh, well, it sounds like you're whatever, so I'll give you this. I don't know.
There is a hormone that's released when you breastfeed your child. And I forget what the hormone is called, but you can apparently take it. And people take it and they have these things called cuddle puddles. Because they just love everything and everybody around them when they're on it.
It's ecstasy, isn't it?
No, it's not that. Anyway, if I couldn't get Xanax, I want that hormone, whatever it is. Because I'm tired of being sick. I'm tired of being in pain. I'm tired of being stressed out. Some of my blood work came back, and I've got high stress hormones. And
oh, let me tell you something about that in a second. Okay.
Go ahead.
All right, so Bonnie she basically just laid it all out for her endocrinologist, same endocrinologist I go to. And the doctor said, well, I'm going to give you complete endocrine test screening and find out, you know, this, you know, why your energy levels are so low and so forth. You know, one of the things she had to do was she had to do a cheek swab over the course of 4 days. She had to do it twice. And then keep the swabs refrigerated until she turned them in. All right. So there's this place that we go that's connected with our hospital that they do the lab work there. Okay. So Bonnie's driving. I got to take. We've kept the two swab samples refrigerated on the trip up there. Okay. Now she wants me to walk it in and turn it in. There's no real procedure for dropping off a sample there. They want you to go in there. Anyway, so I go in there and I don't know what to do. So I go to the receptionist, one of the check-in people, and I go, I'm here to drop off these samples for my wife. Oh, well, she has to come in and be registered and signed in and blah, 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 just to drop off the lab work. There's 15, 20 people in the waiting room already. So I don't understand the point of going in, signing your name in, waiting 30 or 40 minutes to be called up there to be registered, then to go, okay, now we can take your sample. So I went back out to the car and told her that they want you to check in, blah, blah, blah. No, just drop it off. Okay, fine. So I go back in there.
Now, mind you, I
And
have
I
my
just-
cane. I'm barely able to get around at this point.
So I just marched back to the back where the labs are and got somebody's attention and said, I'm dropping this off. And the receptionist woman saw me go back there and she chases me back in there and goes, he just barred. I told him he had to wait and he just barred back in here and blah, blah, blah. And I just ignored her and walked out. And it just, what a stupid procedure. It reminds me of years ago, I had to do this stool sample thing for my, what is it, GP?
Yeah, your annual exam.
So-
Once you get to be age 50, they ask for this.
So, do this at home, stick this little thing into your shit, a couple of times a day, and then bring it back up here. All right, so bring it back there. I go to the place, and I go to the lab. This is a different lab. And I go, I'm here to drop this off. And the two women in the lab look at me like, they look at each other and look at me like, this is unheard of. I don't know. And so I went, fine. I turned around and dropped it in the trash and just walked out. And from behind me I hear, have a nice day. So I called the doctor. He goes, look, this next time, just come up to my office and just drop it off with us. Don't worry about those people.
So when Peter was sick really badly at first, he had to do the same sort of thing. And the first time we did it, we followed the procedure, which was, it said, mail this in. Because that's what they did at the time. We mailed it in. We got a note from the doctor's office that said, the sample that you received did not arrive in a timely manner, and it was too dry to be used. And we're like, we followed your instructions. We put it in the mail. It had taken 3 or 4 days to get there because, it leaves our area, it goes all the way to Atlanta, it goes back to Athens, then it gets delivered, and apparently it was on a weekend or something or another. So the next time I had to have someone drive it over to one of the doctor's offices directly and leave it with them for the next one because the sample had to be done. And it was just, what the hell is going on? They keep closing the different lab locations. Like they used to have this really convenient one over off Cathwood Drive. And there was rarely anybody there for lab work. They were there for MRIs or CTs or something at that location. But if you walked in, they could do your blood work there. But instead, we ended up having to go at 7 a.m. on a Saturday morning, wait in the parking lot for 5 or 10 minutes for them to open, and then hope that we're going to be the first, second, or third people in there. Otherwise, we're going to be in there for half an hour or more.
I don't understand why I'm so sleepy now. But
I don't
an hour ago, I drove up the road because I felt I needed something stronger than my usual tea. I drink this huge thing of bitter coffee. I come home, and now I'm sitting here, and I'm starting to yawn and getting sleepy. And I know that if I lay down, to try to take a nap, that's when the coffee will start to kick in. And I'll lay there all... You have an immortal soul. Okay, what now?
Jesus.
What are you going to say?
Nothing.
You touch me on the shoulder like I have a point to make.
No, I just have my hand resting on you, dear.
Okay, I see.
It's one of those signs of affection.
Oh my God, I was going to tell you something just then.
Something to do with affection?
No, I know what it was. We have a new postmaster at the post office where I work. And he came in making big promises about going to get you, not only going to repair the equipment you have, but I'm going to get you the proper equipment, going to get you some more help. And everyone's like, oh, this sounds wonderful. And I've heard this before. And until it actually happens, I'm not going to get my hopes up.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, like the supposed payout this week.
Yeah, at first I told us, we're putting in the union says, we're putting in a grievance and you're all going to get $600. A couple of days later, well, we made a mistake. It's only going to be $300. And I guarantee
my
you...
response was, you wait. It's only going to be $150 by the time they take out all the taxes and stuff.
And it'll be 6 weeks before anything happens.
Oh,
I guarantee
it'll be even longer than that, probably. What gets me is you have filed and asked for grievances over the years, and nothing has been done. I came across an old Word file today. It talked about the time that jackass, where you used to work, it had iced over. The governor said, everyone stay off the roads. I am driving Lance to work at this point, so I'm driving what was a 125-mile round trip. Twice a night. We get down the road, and I can barely handle the road because we're on rural roads. So we call in. He refuses to pay anybody any money. Says everybody took off because it was spring break in Atlanta schools at that point because it was some kind of late ice storm or something. He said people just called in because it was spring break. They didn't want to come to work.
Well,
and we're like, we got college students, and we live 65 miles away, you dumbass.
Well, when I worked up there, I can't remember what prompted this. Maybe it was wintertime. I can't remember. But they handed everybody a piece of paper, and it was an official letter that you were to keep in your car.
It was COVID.
And was it COVID?
It was COVID.
No, it can't be.
Yeah.
No, it can't be. Because it was something you're supposed to keep in the car, and if you got stopped by the police and they told you you can't proceed, the road is too dangerous, you were to hand this piece of paper to the police officer and say, you take a look at this. I am a postal employee, and you are to let me through and drive on this road no matter how goddamn unsafe it is. And everybody's like, are you crazy?
If the road's that bad, you shouldn't be on it.
I'm not going to come to work. I'm not going to go, well, I don't care if the bridge is falling in. I'm a postal worker. You are to put my car on the barge and tow me across the river. What the hell?
I remember during COVID, you were also given a piece of paper that said, this person is a U.S. postal employee. They have an ID, and you may ask them for it. They are an essential employee, blah, 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 blah. In the event that we're going to be stopped and quarantines are going to be set up and stuff.
Oh, my God. I cannot believe how sleepy I am. When we get done here, I'm going to have 2 of those buttered rolls and just see what happens. I don't know how much work I'm going to get done tonight.
I did something for you last night.
What'd you do?
Well, you can't see it, right?
Oh, yeah. I've been putting off a haircut for months.
Inspired by who and for what reason?
Oh, our son has a really cool haircut, or did.
No.
What?
Yellow.
Yellow.
Yellow. Dietrich?
No, 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 no.
No, you didn't want to look
the
like
the
him?
singer for Yellow is this older dude, Dieter Meyer, and he's got sort of this mullet. He looks like a cross between Michael Caine and Robert Plant. And I made a joke like, when I have gray hair, or totally silver gray hair, I'm going to have it long in the back like that. And the thing is, he's not bald on the top like I'm going to be by the time I'm his age. So anyway, but Peter has this. Our son has or had a month or so ago, a really cool haircut, and I thought, well,
Which I gave him.
I'm going to grow my hair out, while I still can, and when I slicked it back, it was fine. But then over the course of the working night, it would just sort of get wispy and fly away.
Like a clown.
And I hate having, when I would get up and have to go make some run into town for something, I hated having to fix my hair. So I said, I've been telling Bonnie for weeks, I need you to cut my hair. So finally yesterday she cut my hair, and it's really short. And it's so nice to be able to get up, and you gotta go somewhere. You don't have to mess with it. You don't have to bother.
It's really
with
short.
with trying to put a shirt over your head without messing your hair up. It's so nice.
But you're going to have to wear a hat during the summer so you don't get sunburned.
Funny. They can see your trephination scar.
And where I take the hammer to you later.
There's a band or group or just one person operating under the name, oh God, it's Trephination something. It's like a Germanization of the word Trephin. I can't remember the damn name. Trephination Ritual? I can't remember.
You heard some good music out of somewhere this week. Where was that? What was that? You got a video sent to you? A band that had...
Oh, my friend Steve sent me. There's a Swiss thrash metal band named Coroner. They put out maybe 6 records back in the 80s, early 90s, and then broke up for years. And apparently they've gotten back together with a different drummer, and they put out a new record. And he sent me the video for the first song off the record, and it's really good. Anyway, and so today when I went out, I brought along their earlier last record, Grin, which is where they went sort of in a groove metal direction. And some people hate it because metalheads, no matter how tolerant they are of gay people or different races or or whatever, they're very purist when it comes to their metal, and they don't want any hint of melody in it, or they don't want any hint of funk in it, or so it's a lot like the jazz community can be very snippy and snitty about, you've incorporated rock rhythms. I imagine country music people are similar. I guess I really don't know.
I don't know. Back in the 80s, they had that song "Country Rap is Crap" on country music stations, and now they have country rap. So
I predicted that years ago.
They've apparently opened up a lot.
Yeah. Oh my God! I cannot believe. Why am I getting sleepy for? It doesn't make any sense. My God. When I woke up today, I woke up at 6:30, I think, and I felt like I had a very refreshing sleep.
I wish to God you could work days.
Yeah, I know. Maybe one day that will be a possibility.
Maybe they'll actually post a job where you can work days.
Well, if we do actually get more people, that might happen. But I guarantee you, if they ever do make any more day shift positions available, it'll be fucked up off days. I guarantee you. Your off days will be Monday and Friday. What else have we experienced this week?
Something we're not going to talk about.
Okay, but I mean, I thought I can't remember some cultural things. Oh well, I'll tell you one thing. I finished that painting project that had the text on the paintings. So I decided to do something similar, but this time the text would be a separate page. I could go back to my regular painting method style. And so I wrote 5 pages specifically for the first 5 paintings in the series, and I'm not in a writing state at the moment, and it was just a pain in the ass. So I thought, I'm going to find some stuff I've already written in the past. So I found some pages of stuff. Anyway, they had one of the pages at the top I'd written John Godfrey Nanos Valla-Auratis. And I remember the name Nanos Valla-Auratis because I really like his work. He's a Greek
Prose poet.
He's a Greek literature professor who writes poetry and it's prose poetry, which I really like. And I was like, I don't remember John Godfrey. So I looked him up, and so I read some of the pieces, and I was like, oh God, yes, this is why I wrote his name down. And I was reading, I was like, oh my God, Bonnie can't stand my obscurantist writing. And I thought, I'm going to read some of this to her.
Example, Lance.
What do you mean? I don't have anything on me at the moment.
You don't? That's sad. Somebody should hear your poetry and the way it just kind of goes back and forth. And
well, it's just, I don't know. It's kind of like abstract expressionist painting or abstract painting in general. But anyway, so I told Bonnie, let me read this out loud to you, and you'll see that my writing has legitimacy, because here there is this famous poet who writes gibberish the way I do.
Very apt.
Oh dear. Oh my God.
Yeah, he gets finished with it, and I go, that doesn't scan.
There's a scene for years ago. We went through a phase where we were watching the original Upstairs Downstairs,
Yeah.
and the daughter in the family is dating this poet, and the Lord Snot-Nose, whatever his name is, the father, he finds out, and he's like, oh, apparently this guy that so and so is seeing has got a poem printed in today's newspaper. So he reads it out loud. He looks up and he goes, it doesn't scan. And that sort of mindset, I understand why it was prevalent 150 years ago or whatever, but at the same time, you wonder why people were so hidebound and so...
What was the famous musical piece that people ended up rioting in Paris when they heard it?
Oh, Rite of Spring by Stravinsky.
Yeah.
You listen to it today and you're like, what was the big deal?
Yeah.
Why did this cause people to just freak out? What? I don't understand that. Of course, that being said, everybody is conservative in their own way, meaning they don't like change or they want things to go back to the way they were in some aspect, some area of their life or in some area of culture or the world. Everybody's like that in some degree.
Yeah, like me and yoga pants. I think that they are detestable. I think it's like you walked out of the house wearing your pantyhose kind of thing.
I remember when stirrup pants were all the rage among these overweight redneck women, and I hated them. I hated them. And it was a big deal for about 2 years, and then disappeared.
And now the yoga pants are pantyhose pants, and you can see camel toes and cellulite lumps and stuff.
Why?
And I'm like, stop, don't do that.
But basically, stirrup pants were those kind of pants, but with a little thing that went over your heel.
They dropped down from the butt to the heel, and there was like this line. It didn't cling to all the fat.
I don't know.
Cling to all the curves. You know, unless you got something that was a couple houses too small, and people weren't doing that back then.
I don't know. Fads and trends irritate me.
Oh, speaking of fads and trends, AI. A friend of mine in Orlando, he lives out in San Jose in California, found out from him this week he lost his job. He's been with Oracle for 30 years. He is one of these people, he's a tech, and he was in charge of translating tech manuals, installation guides, etc., with 3 different languages. He lost his job to AI. The worst part is his manuals were used to train the AI.
Well, I unsubscribed to Michael Lambert's channel today because he puts out a video every Friday night. And usually, I mean, his videos started off as anti-Brexit videos because he had been pissed off by all the results of Brexit. And they slowly morphed into, he's based in Britain, and slowly morphed into just anti-Brexit and anti-Conservative Party, and then recently anti-Trump, anti-Republican Party. But the most recent, this weekend's video was about the world is in chaos, and we are approaching, these horrible things are happening, but there is hope. There is hope on the horizon, and here it comes. It's AI. And I thought, you are an idiot. I left a comment saying, I'm sorry, Mr. Lambert, but I have followed you for a couple of years now, but I can't go along with this because AI is not our savior. It is our new technological overlord master that is going to throw everybody out of a job. And
it's environmentally destructive.
Yeah.
It's devastating, the amount of power that is necessary. We have a one of these AI or some kind of crypto or one of these type of mega centers that is opened up here in Georgia, and the neighbors are going crazy because they're having problems with their water, environmental pollution, all this kind of stuff. When these centers get set up, they tap the wells in an area. They draw on the energy. They buy the energy at these extremely reduced rates. And there's a finite amount of energy. So suddenly, there's less energy that's available for everyone, okay? Because as we know here, it took 15 years to build a nuclear power plant in Georgia, and we got taxed every single bill for it. So when they come in and they take all this electricity, they buy this huge block, what it does is it reduces the amount of electricity that's available for others, and that forces the price up. So everybody ends up paying more. It's environmentally devastating. It's basically an entire drain on the economy and environment rather. And what's it going to do? It's going to take away jobs from people who've had them, and for what? A model that was based on a variety of intelligence that's been gleaned from everywhere, and it isn't parsed and checked for its whether it's correct, whether it's applicable, and it means that people are not thinking as much for themselves, and we've already got a problem with that. We're being fed all this fake information from Republicans specifically, but from everybody, trying to get their little ideologies out there. Use ivermectin, don't take the vaccines, don't do this, and you've got all this disinformation as is out there, and what has happened is the AI model has gone and gleaned this information as its source.
Well,
so what it spews out is shit a lot of the time.
one of the things that Michael Lambert said was, see, AI is going to enable you to start your own business and blah, 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 blah. And it reminded me, this has been, Jesus, 30 years ago, Newt Gingrich saying, the coming information revolution, the coming digital revolution is going to enable people to start their own businesses. How did that work out? You had a couple people. Jeff Bezos started the business and became a billionaire oligarch, God emperor. But how about everybody else? No, it's like everything else. A few people jump in and just roll the dice and they come up a winner. But everybody else, you give me a fucking break. You're going to use AI to start a business that's going to compete with everybody else in the world and you're going to make a living? No, you're not.
What the whole Newt Gingrich thing is we're going to be able to use the internet and everybody's going to be able to do this business, blah, 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 blah. I've been out there. I was out there for about 10 years doing that with internet stuff, okay? And the things were, selling tech online, selling antiques online, selling books online, doing recycling, doing information for a variety of different things. And invariably, every single one of those jobs that I worked for shit wages and no benefits because all of them were break-even jobs, the businesses, and some of them went under. And it just wasn't sustainable because it was everybody trying to do the same things. And even when I went on my own and set up our own seller accounts, there was a price point where I had to stop because it wasn't worth my time. Because there were so many fees involved, and again, no benefits. I'm relying on Lance at this point for benefits.
Well, also the idea that that everybody would want to run their own business. When you run your own business, you've got to provide customer service, customer satisfaction, and so basically you're on 24 hours a day.
And that was some of the
Not everybody wants to do that. Some people just want to have a job so that they can make enough money to earn a living, and then come home and relax, or come home and do their own thing. But Michael Lambert used to run a business where he would go to Europe like a couple times a year and buy all these tourist tchotchkes and bring them back and resell them at a profit. And he thinks, well, that was and Brexit took all that away from him. Brexit destroyed his business. So he's bitter about that and has been bitter about it for 6-7 years now, 9 years now. And so his concept is everybody should have the opportunity to do what I did, which is run his own business. I'm sorry, not everybody wants to do that. And over the years, people will see my drawings or my painting and go, I don't understand why you're working at the post office. Why aren't you a millionaire? Do you know how many look on Pinterest, look on Behance, look on Etsy. Do you know how many people do art? Do you know how many? Do you know how few of those people make a living?
Yeah.
Much less get rich.
Yeah. Every once in a while, I'll look online at some kind of business here that sells antiques or something, and I'm just like, oh my God, I can't believe you identified this as such and such. You don't even know what you've got, and yet they've managed to get a successful business. They have a storefront, which is something I was never able to do, was have a storefront, in the physical, real world. And here are these people, they're just flying by the seat of their pants. It's just luck. So many times, it's just luck. You do all the right things. I have met some fabulous artists and photographers, and they should be big. They should be huge. They should be having shows. But no, they're working behind the counter. They're working in jobs with me that had no benefits. Many of these people were on welfare, getting food stamps, and my job was to write the letters each month verifying the hours that they worked so that they could continue to get their level of food stamps.
Well, on a related note, we were talking about this just earlier today. Downtown Athens used to be so cool, and they have totally ruined it because it used to be full of all these little businesses run by individuals.
Like that shoe shop you worked for example. It was part of something
Well,
larger,
a
but
long
it was
time
a
ago,
family.
right?
A
Well,
couple
but I don't, there used to be. Do you remember this store called Local Color?
Yes.
It had this rainbow-colored zebra on the door.
Yeah.
And there was Frontier on by Nancy. What's her
Lindsay.
name? And there were a couple of men's clothes stores. There was George Dean. There was George Gibson's. There was the Frederick store. What was it? Fred something. And there was the shoe store, Lamar Lewis. There was Maryland Shoes. There were
About the only one.
oh,
That
Jackson
survived
Street
is
Books.
Harry's, and George Gibson's gone now, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, it moved out there. It moved over to Baxter
Baxter?
Street. Yeah, near Provino's. I don't know if it's still in business though, but I got some beautiful.
It's long since gone.
Yeah, but I got some beautiful Madras shirts at George
Yeah.
Dean years ago.
But the whole downtown area has changed, and now there are like 600 bars downtown, and some of them are double stacked.
Well, see, they got rid of 90% of those small businesses and put in all these high-rise apartments downtown because they know that people are desperate to get a college degree so they can get a high-paying career. And so people come from all over the state and all over the South to attend the University of Georgia, and their parents are worried about them, so they put them up in these apartments that are right across the street from the university. And God knows how much they're charging for rent for these places. These places have every amenity you can think of, and they're like
They're
7-8 stories tall.
renting by the room, by the bedroom.
Yeah.
They're so expensive. There was one we were looking at this past week with somebody. It was $800 or $900 for the bedroom. The bedroom.
Mm-hmm.
And there were roommates you had to share with. You got your own bathroom, yay! But you had to share a kitchen and a living space, an open space. But oh boy, there was a dog park on the roof up there, and they had a gym and a cold plunge pool or some kind of nonsense. And you're like, good God.
Oh, Lord. Yeah, when I was a kid, before they built the mall, there were 3 big department stores downtown. There was Belk's, Davison's, and JCPenney. The Sears was further down the road. But when they built the mall, all 4 of those stores
Tried it out.
emptied
Yep.
out and went over to the mall. And everybody predicted, oh God, downtown is dead. But it just left room for more small businesses to come in.
Yeah.
And now that's all gone.
Do you realize how many times the Michael Brothers has turned over? I mean, we had clubs there, multiple clubs there. Bars, dance places. We have had Mellow Mushroom and Taqueria Tsunami, and that it wasn't Doc Chase, but it was something. It's multiple types. And
Well, down in-
Herschel Walker even tried to have a stupid thing there once, and
Well, I remember that, but I think his main store was out there, or main restaurant was.
It
It was
was
called
at Chick-
Delights.
it was at Chick-fil-A.
It was right. Yeah, right.
At
exactly.
Beechwood.
Right. But yeah, there was a bar in the basement of the Michael Brothers used to built this big building called the Michael Brothers Building, and they had a department store there.
But there was a
And then at some point they retired or whatever and sold the place to Davison's, which later became Macy's. But down in the basement was a bar, a club. It was all painted black on the inside, and it was dancing and stuff.
But there was also a bar upstairs in the big, huge window fronts where Mellow Mushroom and the
Was
place
there?
Yeah, I remember going there back when Robert Palmer was big. Going to Halloween nights there, and somebody walking in dressed like him and his entourage of skinny chicks with short hair.
Yeah.
It was a great place. It was beautiful.
I
It was just
love that
slammed.
video for I Didn't Mean to Turn You On. Because
God.
God, that was just the not the epitome, but that was the apex of cool and class and style and just visual perfection, and just there's nothing like that anymore. That's all. And I don't mean to be an old curmudgeon, because there's a lot of cool stuff now, but there's nothing of that particular that was the best the 80s had to offer right there.
Of course, we do have the 80s still survive in our favorite Australian band, The Church.
Well, the thing about the church
They're
is,
so 80s. Admit it. That their sound has not changed.
no, it has changed.
It has always been 80s sound.
No, I don't see that. I mean, I see them as
It
changed.
is so 80s.
That album, Forget Yourself, with Lay Low, that is not 80s at all. They've updated a lot.
They're still very 80s.
What a great band. I was looking at them. I was looking at pictures of them on Pinterest just earlier tonight.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah. I can't believe Marty left the band. I don't even know what that's about. Oh God, they were all so young and pretty at one
We were
time.
listening to NXS last weekend, weren't we?
Yeah.
And we were going on about Michael Hutchins' death. God.
We were listening to the Kick album from '87. I guess it was
Is that the
'87.
one that had hit after hit?
It
after
had
hit
so
after
many
hit?
hits on that record,
God.
and
Yeah, I don't think we stopped singing the whole time it was playing.
yeah, New Sensation. I remember when that song came out. It was just, oh, devastating. And I think Never Tear Us Apart is on there, and geez, I don't know what else on that record. I remember Rolling Stone giving this sort of denigrating review, like, oh God, they've changed from what they were before, or just like, ooh, this record is just crafted to be a pop, juggernaut. Well, yeah, that's what bands like that want, You getting achy sitting here?
Yeah, my foot's really bad.
All right, let's see how many minutes we've been recording. I'm
We've been
guessing.
here forever.
I'm guessing
An
37
hour.
minutes. Oh my God, it's 57 minutes. All right. All right, I'm going to try to find some artwork.
Yeah, but I went over,
to
so you
put
win.
on. What?
But I went over. My guess was over. So you win.
All right. Yeah, Price is Right.
Yeah. Price is Right rules. Oh, one too many days
Showbiz.
with grandmothers.
What? Huh?
One too many summers with grandmothers.
Oh, my grandmother was addicted to it. Every morning she had to watch that
was it
damn
11
show.
o'clock up here too?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, it was 11 o'clock in Macon.
And then the afternoon was all soap operas. Well, no, they had soap operas in the morning too.
Not in Macon. It was
I don't
short
know.
after
Well,
the news.
my other grandmother, she would sit down and watch The Doctors and Days of Our Lives and Another World and
I want to say As the World Turns. I'm not
As the World Turns was
sure.
one, but I never saw that. Days of Our Lives was the big one.
I remember Dr. John Dixon. Whenever he was on, she would always go on about him. He's just, oh, he's a devil. Oh, he's a devil.
All those shows were so stupid.
Oh my God, they were terrible. They were terrible.
Do you remember? Did you keep up with Days of Our Lives at all?
I don't remember who was what. I'm sorry.
Well, there was a couple named Bo and something, and they were on
Hope.
Hope. Was
They
that
were
it?
on all the magazines.
well, they were
in
on the
checkout
run,
line
and
when
there
I
was
was
this-
working at the grocery store.
They were on the run, and there was this killer or something with an eye patch who was out to get them. And it was a big, long-running thing. Well, he later became a hero he was a regular on the show because he was so popular.
Oh my God.
Did you know that John Delancey, he played Eugene on the show?
Oh,
And he was
yeah.
like a sort of quirky character.
Well, he kind of became a quirky character with Q. Have
And
you
his
ever heard
girlfriend's
his?
name was Calliope. What?
Have you ever heard his reading of Edgar Allan Poe's *The Raven*? He's really good. He's got a great voice for it.
He was such a good bad guy on Stargate. Remember he stole the ship or whatever it was? They had that giant flying spaceship.
I vaguely remember him. He was part of the Cabal on Earth.
I think
that
he was
were in
ca-
alliance to
have-
get all the technology.
But wasn't he in cahoots with that bad senator, I can't remember.
Ronnie Cox guy?
I think so. Yeah.
God, we're such a sci-fi
All this
nerds.
crap in my head when
I
I
know.
could have Charles Dickens in my head at the moment. Or
Yeah, why aren't we quoting great poets?
all right,
What's wrong with us?
we're going to call it quits, and I'm
Yeah,
going to
we
try to
should.
get my brain working. So that's it. Bye.